What if I told you that mechanics across the country are desperately trying to warn people about specific cars they absolutely don't want seeing in their shops? Picture this, you're at a dealership in 2025 looking at vehicles with the latest technology, modern features, and attractive financing offers. The salespeople are telling you these are great deals, that these cars represent outstanding value and reliability. But here's what mechanics won't tell you directly, because they're being diplomatic. They're privately begging friends, family, and customers not to buy certain vehicles because they know exactly what's going to happen. They've seen the same problems repeat over and over, watched customers' wallets get emptied by expensive repairs that could have been avoided, and dealt with the frustration of fixing the same flawed designs repeatedly. These are the vehicles that mechanics dread seeing roll into their bays because they know the repair nightmares that are coming. The problems aren't speculation or paranoia. They're documented through countless repair tickets, warranty claims, frustrated conversations with shop owners, and owner forums filled with complaints. Today, we're revealing the 7 cars that mechanics are literally begging you not to buy in 2025, vehicles with known problems so severe that experienced technicians are actively warning people away. These are the cars where the repair costs exceed the value within years, where common problems recur despite multiple fixes, and where modern technology becomes a liability rather than a benefit. Let's dive into what mechanics really think about 2027 Volkswagen Jetta. Starting at number 7 is the Volkswagen Jetta, a compact sedan that's become infamous in repair shops for expensive problems that seem never-ending and unfixable. Mechanics are seeing Jettas with issues that cost thousands to fix repeatedly without achieving permanent solutions. The Jetta's main problem is its problematic DCT dual-clutch transmission, which exhibits jerky behavior, harsh shifting that's uncomfortable, and occasional complete failures even on relatively young vehicles with low mileage. Mechanics report seeing Jettas back in the shop with transmission problems that were supposedly fixed just months earlier, suggesting the repairs are temporary band-aids. The transmission software updates that dealerships install don't solve the fundamental design issues underlying the problems. Transmission replacements cost $8,000 to $10,000, which is a massive expense for owners. For a vehicle starting at $20,000, having transmission problems before 50,000 miles is completely unacceptable and incredibly frustrating. The cooling system is another nightmare that mechanics deal with constantly and dread seeing. The water pumps fail prematurely, suggesting poor engineering or cheap parts, and the cooling system has numerous connection points prone to leaking. Mechanics report replacing cooling system components multiple times on the same vehicle, with fixes never lasting longer than a few years before problems return. The thermostat issues cause overheating, and the radiator design seems fundamentally inefficient and inadequate. Engine carbon buildup is a persistent problem with the direct injection engines, causing rough running, hesitation when accelerating, and check engine lights illuminating unexpectedly. Professional cleaning is expensive, costing over $1,000 per service, and the problem eventually returns because the design issue remains unaddressed. Mechanics describe this as a fundamental design flaw in VW's fuel system rather than normal maintenance that owners should expect. The electrical system is problematic throughout Jetta models, with battery drains preventing starting, faulty sensors causing warning lights, and various components failing prematurely. Mechanics spend excessive hours diagnosing electrical issues that often lead to expensive part replacements with no guarantee of permanent fixes. The check engine light comes on repeatedly, with different fault codes appearing each time. 6. Nissan Altima. At number 6 is the Nissan Altima, particularly the 2019-2024 models, which mechanics describe as rolling repair tickets with wheels. These sedans are flooding repair shops with the same problems repeatedly, making them nightmares for shop owners and technicians. The primary culprit is Nissan's continuously variable transmission, which has become legendary for problems across the automotive industry. Mechanics report seeing Altimas with transmission failures at remarkably low mileage, some before 50,000 miles even though the vehicle should be relatively young and under warranty. The shuddering, slipping, and eventual complete failure create an endless cycle of transmission-related repairs, that never seem to end. Many independent shops have specific discount codes for repeat Altima transmission work because it's so common that they can't charge full price. The CVT simply doesn't work reliably in the Altima platform. Engine problems include excessive oil consumption, with some Altimas requiring oil top-ups every 1,000 miles between services, indicating serious internal problems. Mechanics describe this as evidence of serious engine problems requiring major work beyond simple maintenance. The valve cover gaskets leak oil, creating messy conditions in the engine bay and potential damage to engine components if oil levels drop too low. The cooling system has issues similar to other Nissan models, with water pump failures and thermostat problems appearing regularly. Mechanics report these failures happening repeatedly on the same vehicles, with no permanent fix available no matter how many repair attempts are made. The radiator also fails prematurely, and replacement costs are expensive and frustrating for owners already dealing with other problems. The vehicle's electrical system has chronic issues with battery drains that prevent starting and sensor failures that cause warning lights. Mechanics spend frustrating hours diagnosing problems that require expensive components. The infotainment system crashes frequently, requiring dealership recalibration that doesn't address underlying software problems permanently. 5. Jeep Compass. Coming in at number 5 is the Jeep Compass, which mechanics describe as Stellantis's cheapest engineering mistakes compressed into one small package. This compact SUV brings problems that mechanics see repeatedly across multiple model years, suggesting systemic design flaws. The transmission is problematic and frustrating, with the 6-speed and 9-speed automatics exhibiting jerky behavior, hesitation, and occasional complete failures. Mechanics report transmission problems appearing before the vehicle reaches 100,000 miles, which is well within expected useful life. The transmission fluid burns out quickly, requiring frequent service and eventual replacement costing thousands of dollars. Multiple transmission services and eventual replacement have become routine for Compass owners. Engine problems include oil leaks from deteriorating gaskets, overheating issues that persist despite multiple repairs, and occasional shutdowns creating safety concerns. The cooling system seems inadequate for the engine's output, and mechanics report dealing with repeated overheating problems despite multiple repair attempts. The thermostat housing fails prematurely, leading to water pump failures and cascading cooling system problems that seem never-ending. The electrical system is chronic trouble throughout the Compass, with battery drains, alternator failures, and various sensor problems. Mechanics spend excessive time diagnosing electrical gremlins that often require expensive component replacements without guaranteeing permanent solution. The infotainment system crashes, creating entertainment system failures and navigation problems that make the vehicle frustrating to drive. Build quality is surprisingly poor for a modern vehicle, with interior panels rattling and cracking prematurely from normal use. The door seals fail, allowing water intrusion and rust development in unexpected areas. Mechanics observe that these vehicles deteriorate quickly from a structural perspective, with rust appearing in areas that shouldn't rust for years. 4. Hyundai Elantra. Taking the 4th spot is the Hyundai Elantra, particularly 2020-2024 models, which despite Hyundai's generally improved reputation are delivering significant problems. Mechanics describe these as budget vehicles with budget reliability to match, despite Hyundai's marketing claims. The turbo engine is problematic and concerning, with reports of premature bearing wear, metal shavings discovered in the oil during service, and complete engine failure well before 100,000 miles. Some owners describe their engines shutting down while driving with no warning, creating terrifying and dangerous situations. Mechanics report seeing multiple Elantras requiring engine replacement under warranty, with problems sometimes recurring on replacement engines, suggesting the issue is systemic rather than isolated. The transmission exhibits jerky behavior that makes driving uncomfortable, with some owners reporting sudden loss of power during acceleration. The transmission software seems poorly calibrated and inadequate for the engine characteristics, and multiple software updates haven't addressed the fundamental problems. Mechanics report seeing transmission failures becoming more common as these vehicles age, suggesting accelerating deterioration. The cooling system has issues, with water pump failures causing overheating and requiring replacement. The radiator design seems inefficient and inadequate, and mechanics report dealing with repeated overheating problems despite multiple cooling system services and replacement. The electrical system has chronic battery drain issues, with alternators supposedly functioning properly yet not keeping the battery charged. Mechanics spend hours diagnosing why batteries continue to drain even after replacement, suggesting deeper electrical system problem. Various electrical components fail prematurely, requiring expensive replacements without guaranteeing permanent fixes. 3. Kia Sportage. At number 3 is the Kia Sportage, particularly 2022-2024 models, which despite Kia's attempts at improvement still bring recurring problems to repair shops. Mechanics describe these as unreliable vehicles wearing fashionable styling that masks underlying engineering problems. The turbocharged engine has significant issues, with some owners reporting oil consumption problems requiring frequent top-ups and occasional unexpected engine shutdown. The turbo system seems to have fundamental design problems, with premature failure reports appearing regularly even on relatively young vehicles. Engine knocking and strange noises indicate deeper mechanical problems that mechanics struggle to address permanently. The transmission in some models exhibits problems, with jerky shifts and occasional failures that make driving uncomfortable. The transmission seems to overheat, requiring multiple fluid services and eventual complete replacement. Mechanics report that fixes are temporary, with problems recurring despite multiple repair attempts over the ownership period. The all-wheel drive system occasionally malfunctions unexpectedly, with problems engaging or disengaging that create safety concerns. The transfer case coupling fails prematurely, and repairs require expensive complete replacement. Mechanics report seeing multiple AWD-equipped Sportage, with expensive driveline repairs that don't provide permanent solutions. The electrical system is problematic throughout, with battery drains, alternator failures, and various sensor issues causing warning lights. Mechanics spend excessive diagnostic time addressing electrical problems that seem never-ending despite multiple repair attempts. The infotainment system crashes frequently, requiring repeated dealership visits to recalibrate software. 2. Ford Bronco. Taking the silver medal at number 2 is the Ford Bronco, the brand new reboot that's brought plenty of modern problems to repair shops already. Mechanics describe this as a vehicle with exciting exterior design, but troubling interior engineering that doesn't match the beautiful appearance. The transmission is problematic and concerning, with reports of stuttering, hesitation during acceleration, and occasional failure. The 10-speed automatic seems poorly calibrated for the engine's characteristics, creating jerky shifts that buyers describe as unsafe. Mechanics report transmission issues appearing early in ownership, sometimes before 50,000 miles, suggesting design problems rather than defects. Engine problems include oil leaks from deteriorating gaskets, overheating issues despite multiple repairs, and occasional concerning noises, suggesting internal damage. The cooling system seems inadequate for the engine, and mechanics report repeated cooling system repairs. The thermostat housing fails, and the water pump seems prematurely prone to failure despite supposedly being new. The electrical system has chronic issues, with battery drains preventing starting and various sensor failures. The backup camera and infotainment system crash frequently, requiring dealership recalibration that doesn't provide lasting fixes. Mechanics report spending excessive time on electrical diagnostics without reaching permanent solutions. Build quality issues are apparent despite the vehicle's high price point, with interior panels cracking, seats failing prematurely, and door seals leaking water. The design is trendy, but the execution is flawed, and mechanics report seeing structural problems developing prematurely. Water intrusion through door seals causes rust and additional electrical problems. 1. Chevrolet. Blazer. And finally, taking the #1 spot as the car mechanics are most desperately begging people not to buy is the Chevrolet Blazer, particularly 2019-2025 models. Mechanics describe this as a vehicle designed beautifully but engineered poorly, with problems that plague owners constantly. The transmission is catastrophically problematic throughout Blazer models, with the 9-speed automatic exhibiting jerky behavior, hesitation during acceleration, and occasional complete failure. Mechanics report seeing Blazers back repeatedly with transmission issues that were supposedly fixed, suggesting repairs don't address underlying problems. The transmission seems fundamentally flawed in design, and repairs are temporary at best before problems recur. Replacement costs exceed $8,000, which is shocking for a vehicle in this price range, and suggest manufacturing or design defects. Engine problems are widespread across Blazer models, with oil leaks from deteriorating gaskets, coolant leaks, and occasional overheating despite supposedly properly functioning cooling systems. The cooling system seems inadequate for the engine, and mechanics report repeated coolant system repairs and replacements. Some owners report engine shutdowns while driving, creating dangerous situations on highways. The engine seems to have fundamental design issues that no amount of repair can permanently fix. The electrical system is a nightmare that mechanics dread, with chronic battery drains preventing starting, alternator problems not keeping batteries charged, and various sensor failure. The infotainment system crashes repeatedly, and mechanics report customers being in and out of dealerships constantly for software updates that don't fix the problems. Various electrical components fail, requiring expensive replacements that often fail again. Build quality is surprisingly poor for a 2025 vehicle, with interior materials cracking from sun exposure, seats deteriorating prematurely, and panels rattling from normal driving. The doors don't seal properly, allowing water intrusion that causes rust and electrical problems. Rust appears unexpectedly on young vehicles, suggesting poor manufacturing and design execution. Safety concerns emerge as these electrical and mechanical problems develop, with brake problems, steering issues, and unexpected vehicle shutdown creating genuinely dangerous driving situations. Mechanics report seeing safety-related problems that make them uncomfortable recommending these vehicles to friends or family members. So there you have it, the 7 cars that mechanics are desperately begging you not to buy from the Volkswagen Jetta at number 7 to the Chevrolet Blazer claiming the top spot. These vehicles share common traits that make mechanics cringe: problematic transmissions that fail repeatedly, engine problems that seem never-ending despite multiple repair attempts, electrical systems filled with chronic issues, and build quality that deteriorates faster than expected for new vehicles. These mechanics aren't trying to be negative or pessimistic about automobiles. They're basing their warnings on thousands of repair tickets, frustrated customer conversations, and the daily reality of what they see in their shops. These vehicles bring customers back repeatedly for the same problems, creating frustration for everyone involved. The manufacturers seem unwilling or unable to fix the fundamental engineering flaws that plague these models. If you're shopping for a vehicle in 2025, listen to the mechanics who see these cars daily in their shops. Their warnings come from experience and real data, not speculation or pessimism. Choose vehicles from manufacturers with proven reliability records like Toyota, Honda, Mazda, or Subaru. These brands might cost slightly more initially, but the money you'll save on repairs will more than compensate for the higher purchase price. Before purchasing any vehicle in 2025, research the specific model year's reliability ratings on independent websites. Check owner forums for recurring problems that others have experienced, and have an independent mechanic inspect any used vehicle before purchase. Ask mechanics specifically what they think of the model you're considering. Their honest answers might save you thousands in repair costs and endless frustration dealing with problems. Trust the people who fix these cars daily. They know which vehicles are worth buying and which ones will haunt you with repair bills. Your future self will thank you for listening to mechanics instead of salespeople.